Wow, man. So how much times have you been married before? No.
No.
It was your first marriage.
Yeah, I've had 3 really long-term relationships. I had like a 5-year that started in high school and then lasted till me living in LA. And then I was with an incredible woman, Bree, for 9 years. But that one I thought I had kind of outsmarted, which was I had already felt so fucking terrible about cheating on girls. I always got caught. Inevitably, I got caught. And those were I can remember those phone calls and trying to explain why you didn't care.
Bro, is there anything worse than that?
Oh my God. Well, it's tied with driving to someone's apartment to tell them that you're breaking up. I mean, those two for me are like, I've had a lot of motorcycle injuries. I'd take them a million times before I'd ever drive to someone's apartment and just say like, I think we're in different places.
Yeah, and they're like, no shit.
Oh.
Oh, dude, the craziest is when you go over there and you knock on the door and they open it, but they kind of walk away from the door after they open it.
Right.
So it's
everyone
just fully up for you to walk in and talk to. It's like when the gig is up, dude.
Oh, fuck. I hate it so much. And then, you've been feeling that way for months in my case before you have the balls to drive over and fucking be honest.
Yeah.
And then so that drive is insufferable. And then sitting in there is so terrible. But there is that feeling when you walk out the door and you've made it and you're walking to your car where you just go like, oh, thank God. Okay. Oh, you do get that blast of like relief.
Yeah.
And then a day later, you're like, I think I'm in love with her. I think I love her so much and I fucked up.
Yeah.
I think I really fucked up. Then you're insanely in love with her
And
for a
then
few days.
yeah.
And then you got to like white knuckle that just like it's booze or coke to not re-engage. Anywho, what were we? Oh, so when Bree and I met, we met cheating on 2 people.
Oh, okay.
Right? And I knew immediately, I'm like, I fucking love this girl. Like, oh my God, do I love this girl? Like, I want to have kids with this girl at some point.
Wow. And had you ever felt like that before or no?
I guess I did. The girl I was cheating on with that I'd been with for 5 years, certainly, but that had run its course in that, like, I had moved to LA to pursue this. She hadn't joined me. It was kind of obvious. We also got we got realistic about the fact that we only see each other 4 times a year, and like that got it approached an open relationship, or maybe even became one. It kind of was just like, look, you're a human, I'm a human, I'm 21, and you're 20,
y'all was children.
So we were kind of grown up about that. So then when I met Bree and we met cheating, I just had this moment of honesty with her where I said, like, I would like to have kids with you and make it to 30 and have kids. And I don't think you and I will make it if one of the requirements is monogamy. I just think we're fooling ourselves. Like if that's one of the deal breakers, we're not going to make it to the part I want to make it to where we have a kid. And she was like, so what are you suggesting? And I'm like, basically like, I don't want to lose you over that. I'm liable to do it. And I feel like you're probably liable to do it. We just met cheating on each other, on 2 people.
Right.
And there was this kind of weird intermarry period where she like ended up chatting with her mom about it and all this stuff. And then at some point she just came to me and said like, yeah, I guess if I don't know anything, I don't really care. And I was like, yeah, and I have no desire to know about anything, but I'm not going to require that from you. We both were just like, I'm not going to require that from you. So I was in an open relationship for 9 years.
Wow.
And we slept in the same bed every single night. We lived together. There was no like craziness. Well, mind you, I was also a fucking full-blown addict during this period. But if she was at home, I don't know what happened. When I was at home, she didn't know what happened. And that, to some degree, worked. I mean, it definitely worked. We stayed together for 9 years in our 20s, which is almost impossible. And I love her like crazy. Still do. We're still really good friends. And both of our lives have worked out great. And I wouldn't say that was the reason ultimately we broke up. But all that to say, going back to like getting older, being sober longer, I would have liked to have been someone that could have just been monogamous with her. I think she deserved that. I also think.
Oh yeah.
I think even within even within those rules, I was scumbaggy. Like
Right.
I definitely hit on her friends sometimes. Like I did terrible shit under the guise of like, well, I'm not lying about this. I'm honest. And that can be true. And also you can recognize that people are hurt, that you're leaving a wake of people that are bummed and hurt by you. And so it's like, great, I didn't lie and I'm above board, but people around me are kind of hurt by their experience with me. I don't like how that feels.
Yeah. Yeah, or like bring it like around your friends and they know what you're doing. It's just like all that.
They all feel awkward.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that also I think more and more like how many people, because we were very open about it. Like,
dude, I remember it was New Year's Eve, and I was out in the mountains with some girl and all of her friends, and then her friend and I ended up hooking up like in the closet upstairs, and then a couple hours later, she's like, "Did you hook up with my friend in the closet?" And I was like, "That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard of."
Right. That's crazy.
Gaslit
the shit out of her.
Yeah. Well, and we're all just at this. So stuff like that, I think I feel like, and some of those things I've had to like make amends for, you know? And like, I didn't do a ton of stuff like that, but there were certainly moments where it was like, I'd be in an instance where I had somebody I really liked and cared about, and there was still a part of me that needed to get more validation or needed to be seen, you know? And it wasn't always even about sex, but sometimes it was just I needed to know if I could flirt or if that girl would give me some response, you know? Oh, I remember my first, or my second girlfriend, and we were like really in love. And
what age?
I think this was in college.
Okay.
And she broke up with me. She'd had it.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, "You can't break up with me. You're my mom." That's what I remember. It came out of my fucking face.
Really?
And that's
which was just a slight improvement over spitting in her hair.
yeah,
that's where you had matured to by the time you were in college. You can't. You're my mom.
Yeah.
What a Freudian slip.
It was a Freudian water slide, dude. But it blew. It came out. It came out. It just. I was like, "You can't break up with me. You're my mom."
Oh my Lord.
And I was like, and I didn't know for years what that even meant. And then once I got into recovery and started getting a look at my life, I was able to be like, "Wow, dude!" Like I had no understanding of like how to get affection or be fair with affection or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have a template. I didn't have a fucking idea. I didn't know.
What was her response? Do you remember?
I know she felt probably bad for me, you know.
Oh, good.
She loved me for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's a super loving girl, but I think she probably years later probably saw like, oh, that dude was not a
he was
safe,
not ready.
Yeah, that guy was not ready.
No, he was not ready for a mature.
And he's still fucking just
he's
trying
still
to get
not
ready.
But
He's trying to get ready. But that
yeah.
stuff doesn't go away, man. That's the crazy thing. I thought at certain like at certain times in my life, I'd be like, oh, in a couple years this will be gone. But it doesn't go away unless you do something about it.
Yeah, I have the fantasy that to be aware of it would solve it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I see what's happening. I'm just trying to get, I'm trying to heal. Oh, God. I could go super deep, which is like, and this is recent, and this is probably too much for your show or the dudes who listen to this, but.
No, if I crown here one more time, I'm literally turning it into the Garth Brooks of podcasting.
Yeah, me too. I've been crying all the time. Yeah.
Bad,
I didn't cry for 30 years, and now I can't make it through a day without crying.
Bro, it's like.
It's for fucking being sober.
Yeah.
It's like you got the medicine, you don't have anything to numb it, and here it is. But I also think like there was a sexual component, which is like, okay, so my mom adores me. That's obvious. I was the golden child. I did not lack for a mom who believed in me or supported me or thought I was wonderful. She definitely did. But something would take her away from me. And I was smart enough to realize, oh, we can't fulfill this romantic desire of hers. Like that's something we can't fulfill. She's going to have to go get boyfriends.
Right.
AKA she's going to have a sexual relationship with people.
Right.
So I think in some weird way, and I think I'm just starting to understand this aspect, which is like, I have to give that to any woman if I want her to stay around in a way that is world class and you don't want to go shopping for more. Like the priority I put on that part, the sexual part, I think was very outsized for what a woman would even give a shit about.
Oh,
just
so
as
you
a little
thought-
kid, I was like, oh. The only thing I don't have
is
that
the
my
sex.
mom needs is
the
sex.
sexual part. So I need
and
to
that's
be
what I want her to stay at all times, and I don't want any of these guys to come around. So if I'm having this experience that also feels loving and nurturing with a female, my thought is like I have to give her that thing in a way that she'll never go need it and leave me for it.
God, that sounds kind of exhausting in a way. I mean, kudos to you, dude. Yeah, that was the route I took. I was just like, I was always so nervous with sex. It would be like, oh shit, you know? And it would be like, yeah, oh dude, so like unbelievable. And I would just yell things out like, that was great sex, you know, just fucking
hoping that
dude,
you could rewrite history for her.
I mean, my biggest thing was just that one of the things I ran into was just commitment. A lot of times I would get into a relationship and then I just could not be committed. Like I couldn't be committed. I just couldn't do it, you know?
What's your explanation of that? Was it because you wanted to hook up with other girls, or is it because you thought ultimately they would see that you're a piece of shit and be out?
I wanted to have the option to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to be,
You wanted it all. You want to go to Sizzler.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know if
in the
I
mood
wanted
for
it
wings,
all.
and I'm in the mood for salad,
and
I'm in the mood for macaroni and cheese.
I just didn't want to have somebody else like define me. There's a part of me that really doesn't trust having somebody else define me in a way. Does it make any sense or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, even I remembered like when I had a girlfriend, a lot of times I wouldn't even say this is my girlfriend. I would say this is my friend and then their name. And a lot of that stuff I feel bad about, man. It was, because it's not fair to them, you know, like, but so it was that sort of thing. It was like, there's something I just had the toughest time with letting somebody else define me.
But do you think, and I don't want to speak poorly of your mother, but do you think it's okay to suggest that since mom didn't have your best interest in mind, that it was going to be pretty hard for you to imagine that anyone was going to have your best interest in mind?
I think there could be some truth to that. I just don't know. It's hard for me to get there in my head.
Yeah.
Like,
or like intellectually, you could maybe see the thread, but it doesn't feel like anything real.
Right. Yeah. And for a lot of times for me, I got to get to that feeling space, for it to activate inside of you,
Yeah.
So I just think my mom was just super big, there just wasn't a connection there.
Yeah.
And I really wanted it.
How old were you when your dad died?
I was 16. So, and he was very old, but he was cool. I mean, he was old. Yeah. But my mom would come to the baseball games, dude. My mom was kind of a fucking gangster in a lot of ways. Like, she would come to the baseball games and she would fucking scream, "Hit it or we're leaving," from her fucking Astro van in left field. And bro, I was already horrible at baseball. I was horrible. "Hit it or we're leaving," she would yell.
She didn't have any patience for
fourth inning every time we were gone.
Really?
Oh, dude.
She would pull you.
Bro, she would pull.
All right, he had 5 chances. Let's go.
She would pull me from the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like she had your best interest in mind. Totally.
She was just surviving,
Yes.
But,
well, again, you can be sympathetic and not judgmental to it, but also acknowledge what happened.
Right. And I think that's still where I'm at. Like, it's still like there's still a part of me that has like a lot of resentment.
I think you'll have kids one day.
And it'll change it all.
It will, because you'll start subconsciously, or you'll just be evaluating like, oh wait, where was I when I was 3? Like I remember my daughter came in, our oldest daughter. This was probably a year and a half ago. She came in and she was like, she had a nightmare that me and Kristen got divorced, that mom and dad got divorced. And I said, okay, well, what happened? Someone cheated. I think mom cheated on dad. And I said, okay, well, couple things. I would never divorce your mom if she cheated on me. We would work through that. That's not going to happen. But let's say it happened. What would go on? What would happen next? He's like, well, we wouldn't live together. And I'm like, yeah, but I'd buy the house next door. And I will be with you nonstop. Like, I'm not going anywhere, no matter what happens. That's not going to happen. But
right.
if that happened, I'm living next door to you, and you come and see me whenever you want. And maybe your mom will date someone that's really cool. Maybe there'll be another cool person in your life. Like we don't know what it would be. But while I was saying all this to her, I was looking at her and all of a sudden I was just like, oh, she's 9. By 9, I'm on my 3rd stepdad and I've already been molested.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm looking at her, I'm like, no, she's way too little to be on her 3rd dad and to have been molested.
Right, like jeepers.
You have like a compassion for yourself because I think in my mind, I'm always older than I really was, or I felt with it, or I knew the score.
You felt responsible.
Yes. And and in many ways I was.
Right.
And then again, I'm palling around with my brother who's 5 years older than me. So I was always a little bit 5 years ahead. But I look at this little girl and I think, oh yeah, that's way too many things to have happened to a 9-year-old.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I think I probably need to get to that place in my life. I would like to. Yeah, I'm definitely like, I'm tired of kind of living in the same place sometimes, you know? So I'm just working on some of that stuff with my sponsor.
What's the longest you've been with a girl?
A girl, probably 3 years maybe.
Uh-huh.
So pretty long, I feel like.
Yeah.
And so...
And I was saying, when I think back now, I've cleared up like, dude, I quit drinking in 2004, in September of 2004. I had an opiate relapse, but in general, I haven't had like fucking wreckage in 19 years.
Oh, that's great.
And so the stuff that really plagues me now is like just really going back and being like, God, yeah, those girls didn't deserve, like they deserved me to be faithful,
to be like a chivalrous guy,
and
not
to
waste their
not
time.
use them to prop up my own self-esteem, and then need someone again to, because it doesn't last. And be like, oh yeah, feeling great.
Yeah, sometimes
like if I'm dead honest and I'm in therapy,
Yeah.
my therapist will be like, you know, it's not Kristen's job. Like, she's not your mom. She's not going to dote on you and be infatuated with your existence. And I'm like, wait, that's not. But I'm giving up so much. I'm not banging anyone. Shouldn't I be doted on and celebrated every time I walk through the door? Shouldn't there be a parade? Shouldn't my daughters, like, every day I have not left, shouldn't they be like, God damn it, Dad. We got one of the good ones. I know your dad was out at 3. But no one's proud of me. No one cares.